Today I am working on crafting a custom men's goat milk soap. It's a shave soap, so a lot of really good ingredients go into this. And we've got some different ones in the shop, and little pucks and in the tins. And we call it our urban cowboy here in South Texas. So we got the little skull and the cowboy hat, black and white, really cool. Kind of really great gifts around the holidays. So this is a dual lye shave soap. We are using a Shiner Bock, which is a Texas crafted beer. So the first step is maybe have a drink or two. Who knows? I didn't. But what you would do is you would pour that into a container and stir it, and you want to flatten out the bubbles. Now that took me, if you get a smaller one, it probably won't take as long. This took me at least 2.5 days to kind of keep walking by and stirring. Or you put it in your fridge and put it in your fridge in like a mason jar. Give it a good shake a few times throughout the day, like probably 6 or 8 is more like than a few. So it's still gonna bubble a little bit. I think Shiner is just, it's hard to get super flat. Anyway, this has been 3 days of shaking and trying to get these bubbles flat. And it's ice cold. So that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna put on our safety glasses. The lye. So we're using 2 different kinds of lye here. We're using your NaOH, which makes bar soap lye. And we're also using our KOH, which is the potassium hydroxide. This is for liquid soaps. And this is your sodium hydroxide. So together, they make a shave soap. People use different percentages. I actually have done a bunch of testing, and I prefer the where am I at? We're at yeah, so we prefer ours to be 60% KOH, which is the potassium hydroxide, and 40% of the NaOH, which is your sodium hydroxide. So enough with all that boring stuff, right? I've already measured out my oils and butters just because there's a lot of them and I don't want to mess it up on camera. So I had that in the crock pot here on high. Right now I've got it on low. I'm gonna pour in my beer. So we're using a full water amount in our recipe, and that full water is our beer. This is an extremely small batch, so I want to see how this goes. Ooh. Put that back in the fridge. And we've got, let's go do it. Let's see. There's one thing I forgot to do. I'm gonna grab it now. 1 teaspoon. So, forgot to do one step, which was heat up my distilled water with my sea salt. And that makes a nice hard bar. It's very good for your skin. Hubby's out there working on something, making all kinds of noise. So I'm going to put in my KO very slowly. Again, it's a really small batch, so you want to not go too fast. And you also don't want to pour this in too quickly because this can bubble up in volcano. So that's why we want this either frozen or super ice cold, which I've made this super ice cold. Like another pinch. So there's that. And something to stir. Grab this and just kind of slowly stir it. Make sure it doesn't bubble up and volcano over on me. It's going to heat up the beer. So it was, probably should have showed you how cool it was. It already heated it up to 127 degrees with just that. You want to make sure that's fully dissolved. And then tar this out to 0. And then we're going to add our NaOH, which is our regular bar soap lye. And if you pour them in at the same time, I've had problems with it kind of volcanoing and bubbling up, so you really kind of want to do one at a time and make sure it gets dissolved real good. And check on my sea salt. 30 seconds. So in the meantime, I had this on high. I think I temperature checked it. It's 156, which is fairly hot. Take it out and let it cool down a little bit. My drink, and move it out of the way. Get my soy salt. Whenever you're using sea salt to harden your bars, you want to balance that out with some kind of sugar. You can use granulated sugar, cane sugar, maple syrup, honey, agave, whatever you like. They're all kind of help. The sea salt decreases bubbles. Oh, all tongue-tied today. And then the sugar rebalances, adding back the bubbleness but you still get the hardness of your bar, but you don't have anything taken away. So that's all good. So that's what this is. This is my sea salt and organic. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of quickly go over my ingredients here. And I've got these in some simmering water. This is my grass-fed yogurt with my goat milk. And because you want to add everything warm. This is a hot process. And then this here has our additive that we're adding after the cook. So after the cook, I'm going to be adding 10% glycerin. I'm going to be adding agave nectar, hemp oil. I've got lanolin. So this is a good hemp oil that you can get off of Amazon. It's a very good price. This was the lanolin I got called Green Beauty. It's 100% pure lanolin oil. We've got apricot oil. And we have avocado oil. And then, so those are all of our oils that we're adding. I've got aminos in here as well as marshmallow root powder and slippery elm bark. This is food grade, which actually turned out to be a scent is Old Spice Fresh by Bulk Apothecary. That's one of my dad's favorites. Okay, so let's check my temperature on my oils. At 150, I'm going to let it cool down just a little bit more. It's still pretty hot. To test out the shave soap, we want to have our bristle boar hair brush soaking in some hot water. This is a badger hair brush, so it's a natural hair brush. And again, my goat milk And my grass-fed yogurt is in here. I like to use, get whatever yogurt you like, but we have Naturals Grocers store literally down the street from us here, and so they have Grazier's grass-fed plain cream on top yogurt, and that's a really good one. We've got some apple cider vinegar, got this one, and I've got another one. It's the raw with the mother. Let's see. Okay, so also we grow our aloe here fresh. So I went outside and peeled our aloe vera and then put it in the blender with a little bit of distilled water. Just that you kind of want to measure it double. You know what I mean? Because you added a little bit of distilled water. But it helps it be less goopy when you try to add it, and it mixes in a little bit better. So that's our fresh aloe vera juice that we make here. And let's see, I think that's everything. That's a lot. It's got a lot going on in there. So our main base is we've got castor oil, avocado oil. This is in no order. Avocado oil, castor oil, organic cocoa butter. We have cocoa and butter. We have the grass-fed beef tallow. Cocoa and butter you can get from Crafter's Choice. This was trying to get it without spilling anything. Put this down. Alright. This is from get this from Essential Depot. Had the best price for our beef tallow that's grass-fed. Now, actually, the grass-fed was a better price than just people sell organic beef tallow. And this is grass-fed, which is going to make it, and I'll show you. Grass-fed is beautiful. It's going to be richer in your fatty acids, and it's going to be a beautiful yellow, like a yellowy, creamy, smells so good. So that's in there. Shop around, see if you can find what you like. So all of our ingredients are in here. My fragrance oil is already measured out, and I've got some tins I'm going to pour it in, and we'll see how this goes. So get my zip stick. I don't know if it'll work with this or not, or if I need it. It's such a small batch. I don't know if it's going to actually zip. So I'm going to try using a whisk, and if that doesn't work, I will have this handy just in case. Let me get a whisk. So we're going to try doing this by hand. It's going to go pretty quickly. I'm bringing it a little bit closer. And there's our oils. Oh, and I said stearic acid and the grass-fed beef tallow. We're at 152, which is still pretty hot. So I'm going to try. I have the room in case it volcanoes, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. And this is at the light at 130, which is not too bad. So, it kind of gelled immediately. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. Instantly turned. Shave creams go pretty quickly. They go through like a applesauce, which is where it's at right now. It's an applesauce stage, and then it'll turn into kind of a mashed potato-y stage. And then it goes back to another smooth stage. My whole goal of this is to try and keep it fluid enough that I can pour it into the tins. I've tried several other recipes where it just gets so rock hard that you're just like, it's just terrible. You're just trying to smush it into a mold or into a tin, and it's not too pretty. Not too pretty. So I hope everybody's doing well for Halloween. We made our first ever cheesecake last night, and oh my gosh, is it so good. I tried to put like a little spider web on top, and I think next time I'll try making a frosting, like a cream cheese frosting for my web. I used chocolate syrup, and it came out cute, but didn't quite give you the same spider web effect. It blended a little bit. Wasn't as defined, but it was tasty. We're enjoying some beautiful, cool weather here in South Texas. Finally got some 40-degree weather in the morning, 50-degree weather, which feels fabulous. And got some pH test strips here so I can make sure that this is done. These are pretty easy. I think it was universal indicator paper, pH 114, and those work out really good. So I'm going to use that here in a little bit to test this out. So far, so good. It's staying pretty fluid. Kind of more mashed potato-y, as you can see. We've just been cleaning up in the garden and getting the fall garden ready here and trimming up the trees. That is looking pretty much done. I'm just gonna grab this, grab a little bit. I'm gonna mix that into my distilled water. And we're gonna check the pH. And we did. See if it needs to cook a little more. Definitely, it's not done yet. Okay, so we're going to cook it a little bit longer. It's still, we need it to be in the 7 to 6 range. It's still not done. So, dump that. There's still plenty of heat on this. 136. I'm going to add it back to my pot and just kind of keep it on low. My water stick or my whisk. Such a small batch. So, add a little bit of heat to it. That's hot. Add a little heat to it. Just a little longer. Ooh. Got it ready. Don't want it to dry out. It's just a little bit of rubbing alcohol. know, normally you don't want to walk away from your cut process soap. Such a small batch. I'm not too worried about it. So, but it is starting to dry out a little bit. We're going to add some rubbing alcohol. This is a higher percentage, I think, of stearic acid in my recipe than I normally do. Let's see. What does it say? I got 61% total of stearic acid in my recipe. So for this to be as fluid as it is, it's pretty impressive. So I'm just going to give it a good stir. Ooh. We still have to add our additives. So the point is we're still cooking this to get the pH to be neutral, which ends the saponification process. So we're not quite there. Let's see. Get this out. Try. Did I just have it here stuck in a bowl? Too many ingredients on my mind. All right. I'm going to try it again. See if I get pH. As you saw, it was like black earlier. We were closer to an 8, so we're almost there. Pretty much done. All right, so and this is on low, it's not on high, just to keep this warm. Sure, all get this cooked evenly. Rubbing alcohol will evaporate out, so you don't have to worry about it. But it helps keep this fluid and not dry. So I'm going to take this out of the pot, and I'm going to add in my ingredients. So I make sure I add them in warm. This is our yogurt and our goat milk. And this is still cooking. Even though I took it off of the crock pot, it is still hot enough to keep the soap cooking, but I don't want it to get super dried out. Okay, so that. Just want all that goodness in there. It's a small batch. I want to make sure I get every drop. And you want to make sure you mix this in really good and make sure it gets evenly distributed. Give it a good stir. You know, it's a little bit easier to get this mixed in on a bigger batch. This is such a small batch. I'm really need to be taller. Need to be just a little taller. Oh, I might be able to get this mixed in a little bit better here. This one better. Really, it's too small a batch to use the blender stick, so it may not be as smooth as I want it to be. So let's see how it comes out. All right, so that looks fairly mixed in good. So here's all of the rest of our other lovely nutritious ingredients. With our fragrance oil as well, all warmed up on simmering in just some water and some glass bowls. Getting the slippery elm, you want those to be able to be infused and blended in and not grainy or what else would you call it? I don't know. It just is gonna. I'm just gonna try and get this all mixed in real good. Oops. That's okay. Try and use I'm gonna use one of the mini spatulas. Not mini spatulas, but the mini mixers and see how that goes with that. Test it one more time. Paste. So we're neutral. It's gonna keep cooking and getting a little bit more finished. It's not totally a finished product yet. It's gonna still keep cooking and saponifying. It's still hot. So just gonna try not to get that dried out. So, clean her up. Another minute or so. Oops. We're just letting it finish its cook, but we don't want it to dry out. So I do like 91% alcohol better, but it's difficult to find during this pandemic. So I've been working with the 70%. So it's a little bit more distilled water in it. But again, this will all evaporate out and nothing to worry about. Just gonna give that another minute or two to hang. It's at 100 degrees, so it's still hot enough to be cooking. We're just gonna give it a few minutes here to just kind of hang out and chill out, finish the cook, and then we will pour it into our tins, and away we go. We'll test it out, see how our lather and all that is. These are always fun. My dad loves to wet shave, and one of his things that he asked me when I first started making soap over 4 years ago was, "Can you make a wet shave soap?" He's like, I love this. I love these certain brands, but they're like $20, $30 for a puck. And so it probably took me a good 3 years before I was comfortable with creating a recipe, coming out with something we like to call the men's urban cowboy lineup. And kind of your just average guy, average Joe likes a good shave, moisture and hydration, and good slip. And I think we're going to do some for Christmas that's a little bit more high end, not necessarily super luxury. This is more of a luxury one that I'll probably have a few available for Christmas. But I'm going to do one just maybe a step down, step up from where we are, but a step down and meet in the middle and have like, so you get like your everyday guy, then you've got your luxury guy, and you've got, I don't know, I'm going to say splurge. Your guy that likes to splurge on himself, or you want to splurge on him as a woman and you love your man and you want to give him a good, nice, close shave. That's something I've loved about these. I've tried these out myself, and I get a really good close shave that lasts a lot longer, no matter what razor you're using, pretty much. There's just something about the shave soaps. They just, I don't know. I think they work better than anything I've ever used before. So when I have the time as a woman, I like to take a nice bath and, you know, I've got a bunch of testers and we'll lather them up, and I get a really nice shave, and it lasts for a good long time. So probably I'd say 3 days before I start feeling any kind of real stubble for me. All right, so a couple of minutes there. Enough about my personals. We're gonna just get this another mix. Hopefully I can get it in the tin because it's not super pourable. So I don't know how this is gonna go into a tin. Plus I add a little bit of this. So I guess I'm just gonna have to like scoop it in, slap it in. I don't know. It is a higher percentage of the stearic acid, so it's definitely not gonna work like some of the other ones do. Can't get it in there and get it smooth. What? So I like everything to look pretty. So if it doesn't look pretty and smooth, it kind of irks me. That's just me. So Yeah, a whole nother one. This size. There's definitely not enough for. Move that out of the way. This is fairly warm. Might get put that a bit. What was it? I'm trying to remember where I put those earlier. What I did with them. I'm probably gonna get a small one. Maybe two small ones. I don't know. I'm picky. Oh, you're good enough. Yeah, I can get it out. And this is the part I don't like about the shape soaps. It gets so hard that you can't make it a pretty pour. That irks me. You could possibly add a little bit more like warm water to it. Then you're going to be waiting on a longer cure time. Get in here. Alright, and I still want to be able to sub this up and show you what it looks like. So guess I'll have some smaller samples or something. Just be hubbies. All right, so we've got that. Get a little bit hotter water. Cool now. So we'll test this out, see where we're at. Safety goggles. My crazy curls are sticking out like a crazy person. All right, so I'm gonna squeeze out my badger hairbrush. I guess this will just be hubbies. One thing I wish other people would do this too, is they would show how it lathers up. So now this is not going to work like a hard puck right now because I just made it and it needs time to harden up a little bit. But we're gonna put a little bit of water in with our soap. I don't know if I got enough soap on it. There we go. Probably a bowl would work better. It's a little hard to do with a cup. Show you guys. Yeah, clear cup it looks like. So once you get some on there, which I didn't have very much on my brush, I'm gonna show you guys. This is I don't know if I have enough on my brush. Add a little bit of water. Just really get some soap on there. Alright, there we go. Didn't have enough soap on there. Yeah, it says everywhere. Okay. I know it works better in the actual dish. So this is always a better test after it's set up a little bit versus a fresh soap, but you'll still get to see the lather. Ah, let's see. I'm not the best at this, but so I'm trying to whip it up. I think it works better when I have it in a bowl versus something that's the dish is too deep. So here is our lather. I'm gonna take my gloves off so I can feel it. Can't feel it. Gloves on. Switch this out for a bowl. It's too deep to work in. Okay, now we got our soap. And a little bit of water. Need a little bit more water. Add a bit more water. I'm not getting the water I needed. This is what I'm getting. This is really creamy. It's not as I guess my other formula is a little bit stiffer, I would say, of like a meringue. This is like, I don't know. I don't know what we would say in comparison to the one that we normally make. This is definitely very, very creamy. It doesn't stay up like my other one. I can like, it stays there without coming off. But this feels really good on the hands. And this is your guy face. This like lathers up really nice. I don't know if I would change the recipe at all. I'm gonna look at all my recipes again and see if there's anything I want to change about this. But that battery's running low. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in any of our products, they're at BeccasByTheBay on Etsy. And they make fabulous fun. But anywho, I hope you liked it. I will try and look at my numbers and see if I might do another test one. Very, very creamy. Very soft. It's like feels really nice. I mean, this is very luxurious with the lanolin. It's very shiny. Man, this is really nice. This is nice. I can play with it all day. All right, I'm gonna go. Thanks for hanging out with me here at Becky's by the Bee. I'll put my links down below. And go see if I need to tweak it at all. Oh, it smells really good. Scent is good. The lather's good. The creaminess is good. I'm gonna go check my numbers.